What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I will be teaching you probably the best part of website development, and that would be CSS. So I know some people think that CSS is really difficult. In fact, there's like a lot of memes out there that hate on CSS because I don't know, it's hard for them. But today I'll be teaching you the basics of CSS, and by the end of the series you'll probably have a really good grip of this programming language. So CSS is what you use to modify your HTML code in some sort of way. So for example, I have this HTML code here and I have this image of a YouTube logo here. And let's say, for example, I want this YouTube image to be larger. I would go to my styles.css and I would change the width of it to, instead of 250 pixels, I would change it to 500 pixels. And as you can see, the YouTube logo has basically doubled in size. And okay, so we have that. How about if I wanted a red border around this YouTube image? I would go to styles.css and I would create a border that is 1 pixel, let's say a dash border, and let's say make it red. And as you can see, around this YouTube logo image is a dash border that's 1 pixel long. How about when I hover over this YouTube logo, I want it to shrink down so it's really small. I would create in the styles.css file image : hover, and then I would change the max width here to 150 pixels instead of 500. So as you can see, when I hover over it, it shrinks. Look at that. So that's basically what CSS does, and what this is, what max width is, what border is, those are called properties in CSS. And while max width and border are important properties, there are other important properties like hover here, and then there's also, for example, if I go back to my index.html and I create a paragraph, let's say tutorial 3, I have tutorial 3. If I go to styles.css, I create a property for a paragraph. Let's change it to the color, let's change it to green, right? Or green yellow, : and as you can see, this property changes the color of the paragraph text. And what's neat about CSS is that, look, I created a property for paragraph, right? I can create a brand new paragraph element. Let's make it like random character. And as you can see here, this is also gonna turn green. And other important properties would be, for example, let's say font family, Cordier New, Frank Gofflin. Let's say font size. Let's, like, instead of whatever pixels it is, let's make it 30 pixels instead. And as you can see, these paragraphs have changed their property to become not only bigger, but they changed their font size as well. So one thing that's important to know is that some properties like font size or font family can't be used in elements such as image. So if I try to change the color of an image to like red, that's not going to do anything. As you can see here, it doesn't throw an error on you. That's one part of CSS. That was how CSS was designed. So if you mess up your code, basically what CSS is going to do, it's going to skip over line 6 here. It's going to skip over the messed up line. And it's basically just ignores it. So you won't break your code, but you'll know that here it doesn't actually work. What you did was basically illegal. So that is CSS. What else is there? To learn more about different properties, these are just a few of the properties that I've listed. You can go to either Mozilla Firefox and learn about the properties there. Like here, you're learning about divs. You can also learn about things like links or A. You can learn about canvas, audio, bolding. You can learn about links. A. You can learn about articles. Article is basically another way to write divs. It's basically a div, but it's basically a div with a different name. You can just use it for organization. Then we also have things like footer, the same thing as div, it's just a different name. You have header, you have head, you have H1, you have I, you have image, and basically if you want to learn more about the different elements and then different properties of CSS, then you can look at it in Mozilla Firefox. And if you don't like Mozilla Firefox, you can also look into W3 Schools as well. And they're going to teach you everything about HTML, CSS, and eventually we'll learn about JavaScript as well. So now that we've added these properties to our HTML elements, the big question is, how do you do that? Well, if you go to your HTML file and you go to a link, you'll notice that we hyperreferenced or href styles.css. If I remove this, as you can see here, all the styling is gone from the elements. But if I do /styles.css, it's going to come back. And what this basically is this // goes into the videos folder. So we're going into this videos folder, and then inside this videos folder, we look for the file that says styles.css. So if I'll make a better example. Let's make a new folder and let's call it images. So in here, let's delete this. Once we delete this, you'll notice that we lose our image. We'll just have this alternate text, alt YouTube. But if we go here, we go // and then as you'll see, we're inside the videos folder right now, and then inside that videos folder is images. And then inside images is YouTube logo.webp. Oh, sorry, I forgot to move the file inside. Now, once we move the file inside, as you can see, the image of YouTube logo comes back. So that's how you instantiate different, that's how you call different files into your HTML and CSS code. If we don't want this styling to apply to every single paragraph or every single YouTube or image or whatever image, then instead of writing P or IMG, we can make specific classes. So let's say we can make different classes. So let's say first paragraphs or first P. This first P is going to be red. So what I would do here, now that I have created this property and put it inside the first P class, I would go to index.html, tutorial 3, I would add class, and then I'll put in first P. And as you can see, this is red while this is green. Notice how even though this is technically a paragraph, so this is technically green, this first P makes it red because classes have higher priority than styling elements in general. So basically what that means is you can put your code anywhere, but no matter what, this is going to be red because of the priority that goes into making classes. If this doesn't have a class, then this will be green no matter what. But if you make a class that's called first P and you put it here, this will not be green, this will be red. And there's one more thing that you can use. Instead of using classes, you can also use IDs, but I won't go over much detail with this because IDs aren't really used. They're only used in like special cases when you want to style like one element on one page only, but it's not that vital to writing code. I would much rather prefer you guys use classes or general elements instead of IDs. And sooner or later, we'll end up learning about how to create multiple index.html pages and how to link them together. But that's a future video. So that is pretty much the basics of CSS. In the next video, we'll learn about display flex, which is the holy grail of CSS. So the next video is going to be even more important than this video. And I'll see you guys over there.